What does your thumb look like? Is it broad, thick, short, or perhaps curved? You may think these shapes are simply genetic quirks, simple variations passed down through family lines. But what if I told you that in Eastern philosophy, especially in Buddhist thought and the ancient art of physiognomy, the thumb is seen as far more than a finger? It is a symbol of willpower, the seat of authority, and even a mirror reflecting the karma of your past lives. And if your thumb carries certain extraordinary signs, it may hint that you were once someone who made life and death decisions for others, a soul who wielded power over fate, perhaps even determined destinies. Let's begin by understanding what the thumb represents. In Eastern physiognomy, each finger tells a story, but the thumb is unique. It is considered the finger of the soul, the bridge between your inner self and your actions in the world. If your thumb is thick, robust, and short, it often signals a strong will, a person who has, at some point, exercised control or made decisions on behalf of others. Such a thumb is not simply about physical strength. It is an indicator of your ability to direct, to guide, or even to rule. Conversely, a slender, long, slightly curved thumb suggests someone who lives by intuition rather than authority, someone who listens to the subtle currents of life, who prefers to flow rather than to command. These individuals are less likely to impose their will, more likely to let others choose their paths. But here's where it gets more profound. Buddhist philosophy teaches that nothing in our physical form is random. Every mark, every feature is the result of karma, echoes of past actions, choices, and intentions. Your hands, your posture, even the look in your eyes can be seen as karmic imprints, reminders of energies that have yet to be fully resolved. The thumb, as the seat of will and authority, may carry the strongest of these imprints, hinting at stories long forgotten by the conscious mind. So what does it mean if your thumb bears these special characteristics? Let's journey back across lifetimes. Imagine yourself as a king, a ruler, or a general, someone whose words were law, whose decisions shaped the lives of thousands. Perhaps you were a spiritual leader, a powerful abbot, or head of a great organization whose choices determined the fates of many. Or maybe, in a quieter way, you were the person in the family or community who always had the final say, whose authority was rarely questioned. Power in itself is not inherently negative, but Buddhist wisdom cautions, authority without compassion, decisions made without mindfulness, can sow seeds of suffering that last far longer than we realize. Each decree, each command, becomes a new thread in the web of karma. For example, a wrongful execution or judgment might create a weighty karmic debt, an energy that follows the soul into future incarnations. An order that brings hardship to many can leave an echo that reverberates across lifetimes. Even a harsh word that breaks a family apart can create patterns that reappear in future relationships. That is why the Buddha taught, the higher your power, the deeper your need for awareness. Those who carry the karma of authority must learn to temper their will with compassion, to use their strength for healing, not harm. Let's look even closer at the signs on your thumb. If your thumb is broad, rounded at the tip, and thick, this is often the mark of someone who, in past lives, was the decider of destinies. You may find yourself naturally inclined to take charge, to organize, to lead. Yet, if the underlying karma has not been transformed, this energy can manifest as rigidity, an inability to soften, and a tendency to feel isolated or misunderstood in the present life. You may struggle to let others in, to share vulnerability, always feeling that the burden of responsibility rests on your shoulders alone. If your thumb is unusually short, almost as if a section is missing, this can signify a different karmic story. Perhaps you lost your authority in a previous life, or were subject to someone else's misuse of power. In this incarnation, you may feel hesitant, lacking in confidence, yet deep within, a potent inner strength waits to be awakened. The journey for you is one of rediscovering your voice, reclaiming self-trust, and learning to wield power with wisdom. And then there are those whose thumbs curve inward, or seem twisted in some way. This is often a sign of unresolved karmic energy around authority. Perhaps you were one who gave orders without considering the consequences, or who used power for selfish aims. In this life, such patterns can lead to inner conflict, difficulty in relationships, and a persistent sense of being at odds with yourself. But what does Buddhist wisdom counsel for those who carry these marks? The Buddha's message is not one of fear, but of hope and transformation. Do not fear your karma, he says. Understand it, and through understanding, change it. The path to liberation lies not in denying our past, but in becoming mindful stewards of our present. If you recognize yourself in these signs of old authority, do not be alarmed. Instead, see it as a sacred invitation. Use your will, your capacity to decide, as a force for good. Each time you make a choice, ask yourself, is this decision born of compassion? Will it bring peace or suffering? Release the need to control. Practice respecting the freedom of others. Learn to listen as deeply as you speak. Meditation can be a powerful tool here. Sit quietly, breathe, and allow the hidden corners of your heart to come into the light. Ask yourself each day, will my decisions today bring pain or peace to those around me? In this way, you begin to transform the energy of your past, healing not only yourself but all those whose lives you touch. Remember the Buddha's teaching. A mind without control is a mind at peace. The strongest are those who know how to let go. True authority is not about grasping or holding on. It is about knowing when to release, when to step back, when to trust the wisdom of others. You do not have to be a king to hold the power of life and death. Every word you speak, every action you take, is a blade that can heal or harm, depending on the spirit with which it is wielded. So if your thumb bears these signs, view them not as omens of doom, but as gentle reminders from the universe. You have held power before, and now is the time to use it wisely. This is your opportunity to be awakened, to live with mindfulness and compassion. The marks on your thumb are not shackles, but invitations, a call to rise above old patterns to become a source of healing and wisdom. If you feel that these words resonate with a truth inside you, pause and reflect. Let this knowledge be a seed for transformation. Like, share, and become part of the community that spreads wisdom and healing. Remember, peace does not come from abandoning everything, but from letting go of what must be released. As you walk through your day, notice the choices you make. Are they rooted in love or in old habits of control? Do you create freedom for others, or do you bind them with expectations? The karma of authority is profound, but so too is the possibility for redemption. Every act of kindness, every moment of mindful letting go, helps to clear the old energies and open the way for a new, more peaceful future. So, what does your thumb reveal? Perhaps more than you ever imagined. It is a map of your soul's journey, a testament to the power you have wielded and the lessons you are here to learn. Treat it with reverence, not fear. Use it as a guide for living more fully, more wisely, more compassionately. And remember, the greatest leaders are not those who command, but those who serve. The most enduring authority comes not from force, but from love. If your thumb bears the signs of old power, embrace them as gifts. Use your will to uplift, not to oppress. Let your decisions be guided by a heart that seeks to understand, not to dominate. In this way, you fulfill the highest purpose of your journey, transforming karma, healing wounds, and becoming a beacon of peace in a world that so deeply needs it. So, as you go forth, may you carry this wisdom with you. May you honor the marks of the past and use them to create a future filled with light. May you find the strength to let go, and in letting go, discover the true depth of your power. Peace is not the absence of all things, but the release of what no longer serves. The thumb, your finger of the soul, is a constant companion on this path, a silent teacher, always reminding you to choose compassion, awareness, and love. If these words have touched something within you, remember to share this light with others. Join hands with those who seek wisdom and healing. Together, let us create a world where authority is always balanced by kindness, where decisions are made with mindfulness, and where every soul is free to find its own way. May your journey be blessed with peace, awakening, and a deep, abiding joy.